You know, Happy's Thor count is getting unusually high. He's already on 4, which is more than you would expect. Hey, toss a Thor or 2 into the composition to deal with Muta's great, but 4 or 5 Thors, now that's a little bit different. That is the kind of count that could decimate a Zerg army and just absolutely destroy that Muta flow.
Yeah. I mean, again, what's the way that you lose if somehow on one of these attacks a Baneling goes off and you can't retreat and the Mutalist count's too high? Well, sweet, let's just mass Thor it up and destroy it.
He's going for 6. And he's even building Terran building armor and high-sec auto-tracking. I mean, Happy is playing it as safe as you possibly could get from this position. Yeah, maybe another player could have ended it earlier than this, but what if they hadn't? What if that had actually failed? And then the Zerg got back into the game. Bly right now, though, is really running on fumes. There's not much left for him. He does have this one standing army. If he gets a really good engagement with it, he can win. Or at least he can get back into the game. Nice attempt. Ooh, actually, that's a very nice attempt, and Happy doesn't see that at all. Great Baneling connection there into the third. Killed a lot of workers there, and that's definitely going to slow down the economy of the Terran until you realize there's 6 orbital commands on the field. And then, well, maybe not so much.
Jeez, there's so many Thors. I mean, it's basically having, like, a range 12 mine.
Yeah.
Just shooting at you.
Except it doesn't shoot your own dudes, so that's even better for Happy.
Best possible mine, NA. We see the burrowed Banelings. I mean, Bly's running on hope right now, and I don't dislike this. Because keep in mind, this is an all-kill format.
Yeah.
Happy is going to have to go up against someone else in just a moment. So if Bly can exhaust Happy as much as possible, that can benefit Damaga, who has to be sent out next.
Yeah, he is the only one left, and it's unlikely that Bly comes back from this position. It would require... even great Baneling hits, there are still 6 Thors, so even if all the Marines die, that's still 6 Thors. And that's difficult to kill at the best of times, so the link count is not high enough, not even close to being high enough. Drop comes into the main base as well, killing yet more Mutalisks out of this count, which is, you know, let's be honest, Happy doesn't care about those 8 Marines, but Bly certainly cares about those 23 Mutas.
Looks like it might be the time for the final death push. 6, the perfect number of Thors, because who doesn't love Thors? And that's the answer. So now we see the step forward, we see the scan. Happy is doing a mix of hyper-aggression while still carefully avoiding fungal growths and whatnot.
Jeez. That fungal might have been the worst in history, locking down a Thor and a mine, killing neither of them, of course. And in comes the final engagement, and Bly already taking huge salvos. The Banelings do not detonate on anything worthwhile. They just run headlong into the Thor's face first. Exactly how you would expect it. Finally, for Happy, 31 minutes in, the mines actually connect with something that isn't Terran and GG.
And there it is. Happy. Marking a win down. 1 win for Titan, 1 win for Happy. It's all going to be up to Damaga to try to pull a comeback.
Well, if you're going to have an ace, it might as well be Damaga, because he's pulled that stuff off before. He's incredibly good. And in my opinion, like every matchup, he's really, really good in. So I would expect a pretty fantastic game. Happy versus Damaga. Most likely going to be an epic one.
I mean, I think that it would be hard not to. I do think Damaga has a heavy favorite. I mean, seeing the way that Damaga dismantled Hero Marine, despite encountering problems along the way, almost no way Happy is going to be playing much better than Hero Marine can. So I think that still it's going to be pretty similar to the previous result of Damaga versus of Hero Marine. I'm very excited to see Damaga in this matchup again.
Yeah, he's been playing so well up to this point, and he's clearly been the guy on this team. Although, to be fair, that is actually discrediting unfairly the rest of the Ukrainian team. I mean, Cass did great work, and as did Bly. It's just, they seem like one of the most balanced teams. I'd even say they're more balanced than Russia and Germany. And Russia does have 2 incredible players in the form of Titan and Happy. And then they've got Slivko, who's a bit of an unknown quantity. He did do the work. He has actually won a game for them. And I don't think he's even dropped a game, because he was actually sent out last, and they only had to send out a player last once, because Russia went through in first place in Group A. So Slivko is a little bit of an unknown to me right now, because like his success was about a year ago, and I haven't really seen him play too much since then. But the Ukrainian team, like, there is no weak link on there. But I think Damaga is maybe a slight step above the other two.
Yeah, I think Damaga is probably one of the 3 strongest players in the entire Nation Wars. Well-rounded in all matchups. I do think he might have a slight weak point against Slivko, who has really impressed me in Zerg vs. Zerg, having taken out Koreans at WCS with just this odd mass Hydra play. But given, the propensity for Damaga to do that sort of Baneling Roach play, I think that he'll be able to at least show us a fantastic game. Happy, I can't see him having an easy time against Damaga. I almost feel like Happy should do something cheesy.
Happy doing something cheesy is actually more likely than you might expect. Has been known to happen. He can do some strange things, especially with Hellions, which is a good thing to do against a Zerg player. Derelict Watcher will be the venue for this encounter here.
Oh, interesting. Now, that's a small map where, early mistakes up to, 12, 13 minutes can immediately end the game.
Looks like we're going right into this one. It will, of course, take us a few minutes, most likely, to get all of the observers in here. That's the main problem with it.
Quite standard.
Yes, that is very true. So many languages. I believe, I think Emil is doing the Spanish cast. We, of course, have Pomfetude on the French end of things. Take TV. Actually, I'm completely wrong. Emil actually is doing Polish? Is that Polish? I think it might be.
May very well be.
It could be Alex 007 doing the Spanish cast. And then, of course, Take TV doing the German cast. Oh, is Alex the Russian one? It's hard to know with all of these. Like, yeah, that's the... Yes, that's definitely Russian. Okay, I just put that on there. It's like, and I heard Ed Tri Torres. Oh, okay, right. That's definitely Russian. Okay, we got that. All right, so yes, that's actually the Virtus Pro stream. So, that's a...
Derelict Watcher, wow.
Yeah, all right. Cool little selection of languages we've got going on here.
Absolutely. Always great to see, Nation Wars being broadcast to many nations. It both makes sense and is sensical.
That's absolutely true. So we're going on to Derelict Watcher right here. And Sean, I believe you need a quick break.
As amazing as I am at holding a Totalbiscuit, I'm going to let you handle the start of the game.
I will handle this. Don't worry about it. Everyone understands the bio play. So, without further ado, let's get in here on Derelict Watcher. And Damaga has got to do work because Team Russia is rolling, as always, to the northeast position, sponsored by Roccat, a personal sponsorship now. The last man standing for Team Ukraine, and of course their captain in the red trunks playing Zerg. It's Damaga. Versus his opponent to the southwest position, the captain of Team Russia, the ever stoic, ever grim, but ever great, Empire Happy. He is often blue, dabba-dee dabba-die. That is true. He does not necessarily live up to his namesake, but I think that's also a joke that has been made at least 20 times during this Nation War, so I should probably just dial it back a little bit. But as you are well aware, my humor is based entirely on recycled nonsense. What can I say? I'm green. Alright, let's see what Happy comes up with. Will he decide to go for the cheese? They do have one more player remaining, but that is Slivko in a ZVZ against Damaga. Happy is not building a barracks. Is he actually going to go for CC first on a map like Derelict Watcher? And this is a pretty small map, although Damaga's tendencies do not necessarily go in for cheese or early aggression. We're going to have to... Absolutely, we're going to see a CC first here from Happy. On the high ground, surely you would never... Yeah, there we go. I was going to say, putting it on the low ground, that would be a little bit insane on a two-player map like this. But going for it on the high ground, all right, well, that's a nice little start here for Happy. And as it turns out, he goes up against Hatchery first play from Damaga, straight into pool, which is totally fine. He doesn't have to worry about any aggression coming early on. And Damaga can break out something like a bust, but in the current environment, the current atmosphere, it's very unlikely to happen. So I think we could end up seeing a much longer game from Damaga and Happy here. Happy setting himself up quite nicely in the long haul, but he is going to get his gas. He's not going to go gasless for too long. Doesn't want to risk that. will be able to get his stim just a little later than normal, his combat shield just a little bit later than normal, and also electing simply not to scout with the Reaper. He's not going to be building one at all by the looks of it. And Happy will simply move across the map with this SCV. He'll spot exactly what he needs to spot, and he'll realize, yeah, you know what? That was a good opening. I did the right thing here. Damaga can't really do too much to me. So we can continue from this position. Damaga is always going for the double queen immediately there, and he may even build more than that. He is actually building 8 lings. That's an unusual number. It's not going to get much. 10 lings. Ho, ho, ho. All right. That's not really going to get much done, and Damaga doesn't know what he's up against here. That said, if Happy decides to get a little... Good lord. He is going... even more lings coming out here. If Happy decides to get a bit greedy and move down to the low ground with that CC early... This could do a lot, but he didn't do that. He built the CC on the high ground, used it as part of the wall-off, and Happy, I think, has already realized... Actually, I don't know if he has realized how many lings there are out on the map, because Damaga's hiding them, and that's really sneaky.
Oh, when the CV in the corner dies.
He didn't see all of those lings. That was so cool by Damaga.
Damaga is a bastard. How much does he have? 14 Zerglings. There's 2 SCVs being transferred south, and I think that this is an incredibly subtle play that we're seeing out of Happy. Transfers 2 SCVs unnecessarily to the expansion. He's not saturated in his main, but he needs those to be able to repair a bunker in case exactly this sort of attack happens.
And what we saw out of Happy, since you're just coming back, is a CC first on the high ground up against a hatchery. First play. Damaga going in there for a full surround on this bunker. Happy is not pulling SCVs to repair it at all. He's actually going to let that die. And Damaga with the surround kills all the Marines and is now running right in. Happy's not reacting at all to this.
What happened? What happened to Empire's Happy, Snip-Snappy, Reacty?
I don't know, but these SCVs are now running across the map. He's going to sacrifice 5 or 6 SCVs to keep these lings away. I mean, this is actually a slow ling play, by the way. There's still... The gas only just went down for Damaga. He did all of this on no gas at all.
Wow, and I think Happy
he got away with that. Yeah. He ran his SCVs all the way across the map and pulled them back.
He's like, well, I mean, you got the bunker and the Marines, and whatever. To hell with bunkers and Marines, man. Let's do the normal plan. And now everyone's back to work.
Just keep calm and carry on, I think, is the play here from Happy. That was really a very, very smart thing to do, because you're thinking, why on earth is he running his SCVs away? Why is he sacrificing them? Then he suddenly realized, hang on a minute. SCVs don't die to slow lings if they keep going in the same direction. He can actually do that. And he picked up on the fact that there's no way Damaga could have gone gas here. There's too many lings. There's no way he's got speed. He's invested purely into ling. So I'm actually under no threat here. And the amount of workers killed? A paltry 3.
A paltry 3, you say?
Indeed.
That language, TB. I'm loving it.
Follow-up from Happy is going to be a Cloaked Banshee.
Smartest play ever. I mean, I have just seen my opponent do a play that interrupts their ability to get any tech. What halts Banshees? Mutalisks. That's the key tech that will finally cause that to end, and when you see 14 Zerglings out of nowhere, you know the Mutatech is delayed. Damaga's doing a smart but tough spot. He's saying, you know what, I need to be able to at least answer the ground aggression of the Hellions, so my queens can do their best up against this Banshee production. And he's going for a Roach. It's completely understandable. He's probably going to try to minimize the amount of Roaches he does build. But we're seeing the transition to mech out of Happy.
Oh, yes.
Mech.
Very cool. And that is, to be honest, what we've seen from Happy in the past. He is a very competent mech player in the Terran versus Zerg matchup. Cloak has finished. The Banshee not going in yet. He's waiting for the second Banshee, looking for... I think that's a lot of Hellions. 11 Hellions and 2 Cloaked Banshees. That
for sure.
We are seeing the queen, the heavier queen play here from Damaga, which will help, but there's enough stuff here, I think, for Damaga to be certainly under threat. Even Happy, you know, which you usually don't see this at this point in the game, is able to scan and actually kill creep tumors.
Yeah. I mean, he is going to completely deny all possible creep spread. And here come the Cloaked Banshees. The Overseer's nearly done, and they're instantly assaulting. Will he lose the high-energy Queen? So good by Happy to target the highest energy Queen's first 2 fall.
Queen stuck at the front!
Seconds.
Oh, man. All the queens are going down here. There's not... Well, there are enough roaches to throw back the Hellions, but that doesn't answer the problem of these Banshees. There's quite a few of them. However, there is the Overseer in play, so he saves those 2 queens. But that's 2 queens for 3 bases, which, I mean, for a normal Zerg, that's bad. For Demaga, that's potentially disastrous. He relies so much on those queens.
I mean, the 2 Banshees still alive. One's about to run out of energy for Cloak, and that doesn't change the fact that each shot does 24 damage.
Take a little longer to kill the roaches with that +2 ground carapace, but regardless, +1 in fact, +2 armor is the total amount that they have. But Happy now needing to back away with the Banshees. Excellent control once again from Happy. Really impressive. Maybe could have picked off 2 more roaches there, but those Banshees were so low on health, so he had to get out of there.
Completely agree on that analysis. That was magnificent control. Magnificent. Look at them. They have no energy. I mean, it's so funny because the closer you get to 0 without dying, the awesomer you are. But the instant you hit 0, it's like, oh, dude, you're the worst.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he should have pulled it back. What an impetuous blighter.
I mean, it's so hard to look that good, but, you know, that attack, that sequence is precisely why I think Empire Happy's play is so smart. But now we have to take a moment to talk about Mech. Is Mech good on this map? The open spaces would suggest no. Very weak play to go Mech, because how the hell do you secure a 4th base with Mech? It's so far away. Tanks have to be sieged, mines have to be planted, Hellbats and Thors are slow as is, but keep in mind that the push distances are incredibly short, so you don't have to do that many sieging, unsiegings to finish a player off. This means that Happy is functionally going to be doing a big 3-base push, likely at around 160 to 200 supply, to try to kill Demaga in 1 blow. And if that doesn't go well, then Happy is in a lot of trouble. So it's a fast Viper tech for Demaga, and he's building just 3 Mutalisks to trick Happy into overreacting to it.
Now, there was an interesting tech choice here as well by Demaga, and that's he built a Hydra Den along with his Spire. Now, what exactly... Well, obviously, he's going to do one thing with that, that's build Hydras, but would he even decide to do that? I'm thinking of Starbow. It's like, he's going Lurker! What a fantastic plan! But no. How useful do you feel Hydras really are against a mech composition?
Well, what's interesting is that they are pretty fast. So you think about that line moving in. The thing that Hydras really struggle against are obviously going to be the tanks, but against the Hellbats at the front, with the move speed, you know, kicking in, they can actually out-kite Hellbats. So it becomes very difficult for Happy to advance forward if there's a significant Hydra Roach army. In terms of just brunt damage, sure, if you get a big, you know, Zergling Hydra force, you can overrun pretty dang well, but this is nearly perfect theoretical play by Demaga. You want to spread out against Mech. You want to have as many bases as possible to prevent Happy from having a good, clear, clean target. In particular, bottom right and top.
Demaga's been focusing really heavily on his armor upgrades. He's actually just started +3. He's working on his +1 missile attack right now, but what do you reckon to the decision to go purely into those carapace upgrades?
I think that it is his way of saying, I'm going to be building a mix of ranged units and melee units. I'm going to be going Roach, Ling, Hydra in some mix. So he kind of wants to alternate on the attack upgrades, because he's already gotten Zerglings all the way up to +2. But he wants to make sure that his range stuff is up to snuff as well.
Happy doing work with these Banshees. They're back in play. 14 kills on one, 10 kills on another. He has killed ridiculous amounts of drones. 35, 36, 37, and finally they go down. Demaga just builds a bunch more drones, 22, and goes to Broodlords. But I guess that's what happens when you're on 5 bases. But that was a huge amount of damage inflicted here.
Now, Demaga, he's the crossbow cocking back. If he pulls all the way back and releases, he is going to shatter this push from Happy in one swoop. Ultralisks with Blinding Cloud. It's going to be gruesome. But Happy is attacking, not just at the perfect time, but at an ideal angle. This is the only way he can secure this 4th base, is with an attack this potent.
It's going to force Demaga to defend. doesn't really have a choice in the matter. These roaches are making their way in. There's already plenty of tanks to start gunning that down. Vipers coming in, and actually no siege up from Happy, so the Vipers Blinding Cloud don't do a huge amount here. However, the roaches now able to crash in.
I mean, this is a little bit of a confusing placement from Happy, but, I mean, it doesn't really matter with 2-2 tanks. You only need about 4 or 5 tanks in good positions to just wreck roach forces. But we see precisely why Demaga spreads his expansions out like this. He's going to pull his drones to bottom right and try to regroup with stronger forces.
Well, Demaga loses one of his outlying bases. He does have plenty more of them, but he looks like he's going to lose a bit of a more important one here as well. 61 drones have been killed. There's 80 SCVs. Happy, interestingly enough, actually switched over to something we very rarely see, which is the high, I think it's called the high impact payload there.
Mm-hmm.
With the, the 250mm Punisher cannons, which are good single target damage.
Yeah, he's trying to just pick off the Vipers as fast as possible with incidental shots, whereas most of the time he's going to be firing at ground. The tanks are sieging. Demaga has to pull back. He has to pull back.
He can't go into this, surely.
Oh, no.
It's a massacre. There's so much mech firepower here. GG!
GG! That gets knocked out by Russia.
The Hell March from Happy right there. Good lord. That was a mech and a half. That was really good. And Demaga not able to handle that at all. And the funny thing is, he almost got to the point where he could have. Almost.
Yeah. I mean, it was fantastic timing by Happy to say, well, okay, well, you're doing the everything tech. You're going high there, ultra, double upgrade, quadruple expand. The best way to prevent you from doing that is to kill you. So, I mean, again, if you get a little too scared and you think, ooh, I need to get the right units up for all of that, you're just going to fall apart.
And he did. Oh, he did. Really nice play there by Russia. They go to the finals, and Ukraine, a very strong team, goes down to face off
against Germany.
Yeah. Germany in the third place match. And that's
kind of
a crazy third place match, really, isn't it? We're going to see Norway versus Russia in the finals.
I mean, that's the sort of thing that, you know, I think a lot of people would be surprised at, because I think everyone said that either one of Germany or Ukraine is going to be in there.
Yeah.
They should probably both be in the finals. And now here we have the ever-strong Russia, backed by Happy and Titan's consistent play, plus the Norwegian team, which are the big upset specials of this tournament. I mean, especially Ike, who played sensationally versus TLO.
Man, I'm looking forward to this one. The counter's already running, folks. The next series of matches, I believe, will be the third place bronze match, which will be Germany versus the Ukraine, which, I mean, will be an amazing match. However...
And that's going to be so good. Oh, I heard a however. Oh, indeed. Please don't tell me. Please tell me.
I should make it known, of course, the finals will be a best of 7. So, you might ask, well, how do you do that? Well, I would imagine they're going to be doing an ace match if it gets to that point, where they will be able to reuse a player.
Correctamundo.
Alright. Well, folks, we're going to go into this 13-minute break. I need to go blow my nose, because I'm getting quite the cold here by the looks of it, which is not ideal, but never mind. I'm going to play you something appropriate for the Russian victory. I think everybody knows this track. Or at least they should, and if they don't, shame on you. We were talking about this particular composer yesterday, Sean. Mr. Frank Klepacki.
Oh.
And I think considering that mech win, we're going to have to play the Hell March from Red Alert 1.
Of course. Good luck, have fun.
Absolutely. Alright, folks, we'll be back in about 12.5 minutes, bringing you the bronze match here in the OGaming Nation Wars by Dailymotion and Numeric Cable.